And make it a point, check out Pro Wrestling Wire. They got lots of great interviews, lots of great wrestling news. You can check them out online and make it a point to enjoy the best in professional wrestling right here on Pro Wrestling Wire.
How's it going, everybody? This is the Professor Rick Del Santo. You're listening to the Professor Rick Del Santo podcast, part of ProWrestlingWire.net, AIWF Network, Helix Rock Radio, and all your favorite podcasting platforms. I'm joined today by a very special guest and friend, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling United States Champion, the Bosnian Bolt, Mirza. What's going on?
I'm doing phenomenal today. How about you?
I am awesome. It's a great Friday afternoon. You have a big match coming up tomorrow.
Yes,
You've
I
had
do.
a lot of big opportunities as of late. But before we get into any of that stuff, why don't we get into a little bit about your history, how you got into professional wrestling, how you got interested in training to be a professional wrestler, and how you discovered Mr. Mancini and Paul Roma.
So when I was like about 3 years old, I went over I didn't grow up with cable, mind you. So I would always have to go up to my friend's house, and he put on one time wrestling. I think it was John Cena and Randy Orton versus the Raw roster was the first thing I ever saw. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, I couldn't stop watching. So every weekend I started going over to my friend's house, keep watching. Like, we were playing the wrestling games. We were doing all that. And then I finally got cable, and I started watching it like Raw in the USA. And I don't know when SmackDown was on, but like it was always changing during the 2010s. But that's how I got into it. And ironically enough, how I saw it to PAPW was I grew up with Jeremy, who I'm facing tomorrow, and me and him were in school. And we see this poster, and we're like, what's this? It was a PAPW poster. I think Holiday was on it and stuff. And he's like, this is in East Haven, Connecticut. We should one day, because we always wanted to be, we should go there one day. I'm like, you know what? We should. And then about my senior year of high school, I had the decision if I was going to go to college or start wrestling. So I said, I know I'm not going to college. I don't want to. I wanted to start wrestling. I called the school. Mario answers the phone. He said, who's this kid? I'm like, my name is Mirza. I really want to start wrestling training. I went down to school in about October of 2022. I met Mario and Roma on the same night. He came to the Monday training. And ever since then, I've been training, working my butt off, you know?
What was that initial reaction like when you got in the ring for the first time?
Oh, I was scared. It took a couple times. It was my first time really going out of the bloom into like a new area for me, out of my comfort zone. I'm really glad I did it because it's changed me a lot. But when I took my first bump, like, wow, this is not a trampoline. This isn't a mattress. You know, this is the real deal. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing but steel and wood. Were you familiar with Mr. Mancini or Mr. Roma at all, or did you do some research on either of them?
If I'm being honest, I did not know either of them before I started training. I didn't really watch the 90s and 80s before I started training, but now it's like the only thing I watch. I watch it more than
Smart man.
You know?
Smart man. Because I go back and watch a lot of 80s wrestling. I myself, and I say this, doesn't want to sound like kind of nerdy or whatever, but I was a huge Paul Roma fan, and I was a huge Mario Mancini fan, believe it or not. I always rooted for him as a child, that one day he would surprise the world and come away with a win. So, but now it's it's a little bit different. I go there, I'm friends with both of these guys, and it's two of the nicest guys I've ever met in this world.
Oh,
yeah. Have you ever had one of those Mario Mancini cheesecakes?
I have actually, like the month after he made it, like he was like, yeah, you should try this, kid. You brought home a big slice. And I was like, wow, this is probably the best cheesecake I've ever had.
Yeah,
Great.
I gotta say, shout out to Mario. When I was hospitalized last summer, when I came home after my surgery, he drove all the way to my house in Wallingford, Connecticut, and brought a cheesecake for me.
Wow.
So I gotta say, shout out to him. So thank you so much, Mr. Mancini. And I believe I got one for Christmas as well. And I was gonna bring it to my family's house, but it ended up getting eaten beforehand between me and my wife.
It's too good not to eat.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tell me about your first opponent. I know I'm going to ask you about some specifics coming up, but tell me about your first match.
So I'm pretty sure it was Alan and Mr. Z. And honestly, I could not have had a better first match for opponents wise. Get to be with one. I started training with Mr. Z almost at the same time. Like he probably started 2 months after me. So we've been going, like we've been training at the same time. And Alan was actually the first person to show me how to take a bump while Mario and Roma are getting the class ready. Like Alan pulled me aside. He's like, all right, this is how you do it. And he's done a lot of firsts for me. He's been a very good mentor of mine. I give him all the respect. He's given me a lot of opportunities. So
Alan's a great guy. He's he's one that you want to have on your side.
Oh, yeah.
He's become a great friend, and you know, like I said, he's willing to go that extra mile and help guys such as yourself. I know that much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and he's improved greatly. I told him actually, I said at one point I couldn't stand you or your gimmick, but your gimmick got over on me after probably about almost 2 years, and I've become, and we've become good friends. So, you know, so I love that guy. So,
Alan's the best, man.
oh, absolutely. And he's a very, very funny and entertaining fella as well, on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you the first time I actually saw you wrestle, see, I wasn't there for that match that you just mentioned, but I believe that there was a show, and it was probably about a year ago, close to a year ago. You had taken on Troy Stevens.
Oh yeah.
At the training facility. Crowd was packed, and I got to say it was very fast paced, and I said, holy shit, this match is awesome, with the exception, and I think I told you this at one point, you look like your feet were moving a little too fast for you, and you had to reposition yourself at least once or twice. And I said,
oh yeah.
Outside of that, I said, I think I might have mentioned, I said, keep your eye on that, and then you'll be fucking great. And I got to say that match was awesome. So what's it like working? And then I think that, hold on, I'm gonna go back before you also wrestled each other over the summer at the Armada Brewing, the summer series. They do the outdoors at Armada Brewing. This match was a little different because it had rained. There was a little bit slipperiness on the mats. So you guys went through a different approach. It wasn't as fast paced, but it was very good. So what is it? Do you like working with Troy? How's it working with Troy? And he's a professional. Like, he's been around for a very long time.
He is amazing to work with. Like, I think my first match with him is honestly still my favorite match that I've wrestled so far. He guided me through the whole thing. He's helped me a lot. He's like, we don't even need to talk about anything. We literally, our chemistry together, we snap like bread and butter, we keep going and keep going. Even if like I slip up, he controls it and it's like nothing even happened, He's a phenomenal worker. He's trained me so much. He's taught me so much in the ring. And he's also another mentor I love to have next to me.
Yeah. Yeah. From there, I'm trying to remember where you went from there, because it's I haven't caught a lot of the summer series. I went to a few of them over the summer. But my schedule is quite busy. The summer series usually takes place on Saturdays. My son has acting class out of state once a month, and sometimes they fall on the same date, so I don't get to do a lot of shows. But I know that you not so long ago, I think it was a month ago, maybe a little bit over a month ago, you captured the United States Championship from the Red Devil, Mooch. Look at that beautiful belt there. That is a beautiful belt. Paradise Alley Wrestling put a lot of thought into getting that belt. But you've been wrestling roughly a little bit over a year, like actually out in front of the crowd, not even
out in front of a crowd. Next month's my 1 year, so wow. I haven't even hit 1 year yet. Nope.
And you captured the belt already. So how's that feel about you getting such the opportunity and then winning that belt?
Shocking. Yeah. I didn't expect. I thought, I always had the confidence that I'd win a belt eventually in my career, but to have won it this early, I'm very grateful, very honored every day that Roma and Mario trust me enough to have it, and I'm super thankful. I didn't even know I was gonna win the belt. They surprised me. I was super happy. I'm honored. I was thankful. And now I'm defending it. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. You went down to North Carolina for the AIWF 33rd anniversary event, and you brought that belt with you. What was it like going down? Now, was that your first time out of state, or have you been traveling with, I know that Bloodsaw brings a bunch of guys around. Have you traveled with him prior?
So this was my first time wrestling out of state ever. Okay. I haven't gone to anything in New England yet. I've been waiting, toning my skills. But this was my first time going down, and I was like shocked to see how much different it is compared to PAPW. It was also my first promotion out of PAPW, not only out of state.
Right.
So I had a couple matches down there. I showcased the belt. I didn't win anything, but I never got pinned or anything. So I never got lost clean,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we got a lot of guys that went down there that came back with gold, which was from PAPW, which is Corey and Nellie came back with the AIWF World Tag Team Championships, which, I mean, I thought that was pretty exciting. I was supposed to be on that trip, but of course my life, I wouldn't say my adulthood got in the way. Family, I wouldn't say get in the way. You were having that launch show, the Northeast show, and my wife ended up actually in the emergency room that night. So I ended up having to cancel everything, my whole part of that trip, which was family first. That's always the number one priority with me. But there's always another time that I'd love to come down there or anywhere with you guys and to go on like a weekend trip like that, because it seemed like it was a really awesome time. Bloodsaw came out with the United States, no, excuse me, the television championship, and Kaizu, the Northeast show, the AIWF Northeast show, launched, and he beat Bloodsaw for the Atlantic Championship. Excuse me, I'm drawing a blank here. I knew I should have written this stuff down, but and then he went down there and he tore shit up out in down in North Carolina as well.
Yeah, I'm honestly so proud of all of them. Like, to see me at Kaizo when he first started, like, I think we actually trained. He tried out on the same day I did when we first started training, and then he waited a couple months after to get the money,
right.
thing. And then to see him get all this is awesome, man. Like, I went right next to him and said, "Man, we're both champions. We first started together, and now we're both champs." And then seeing Corey and Nellie go at it, I mean, they've been making so much fast progress. They only started training like maybe like just over a year ago, and now they're champs as well. They've been going through the states with Bloodsaw, going at Nelly was on, he was doing plant work for the WWE. It's awesome.
He had a hell of a weekend that weekend, because he was with you guys in North Carolina for that big event, and then came back and then drove to Buffalo the same morning. He was there. He was security on Monday Night Raw. He broke up the fight between CM Punk and Seth Rollins, which the funny part about it is Mr. Saban and I talk just about every day. I didn't watch Raw that night. I was gonna wait and watch it in the morning because I forgot what I think I got busy. And he texted me saying, "Did you see what happened on Monday Night Raw?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Well, usually if things are local, I look and see if there's anybody I know." He goes, "I didn't think in Buffalo there'd be somebody I know." And then I was like, then he sent me a picture. I said, "Holy shit, there's Nelly standing right behind, I think it's Seth Rollins before the fight broke out." So
it's crazy. It's like, honestly, to see a whole roster getting this much opportunity and all of us getting out there, just showing what Roma and Mancini taught into our brains and and teaching it to everybody else. It's I'm very happy for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, those opportunities are going to come to you as well. You've got you're getting out there now. So you've also, like you said, you worked at one match out of state. Is there other places out of state or anywhere else that you're looking to get into?
Anywhere, really. One thing I'm gonna try, if the Wrestling Open has another tryout. Marbury's been asked me, "Hey, you should try out when it happens." I'm like, I'll see. Like, I've been trying to put on more muscle, so like I'm more TV ready. Gain more weight on me, because I'm obviously not the biggest.
Very skinny guy. I noticed that. You gotta put on some weight there.
Oh yeah, so funny thing, I've started at wrestling. When I first started training, I was 130, so I was even skinnier than what I am now, and now I'm almost 170. So I've packed up pounds, but it doesn't really look like much since I'm taller. So but the start,
A couple steaks will help, like start getting you in that shape. So yeah. Tell me about Mr. Z. I know you said you worked with him, and what's it like working with him? And what do you think of his character? Because he's quite the evil character.
He is very vicious.
Yeah.
His character is out of this world, and no pun intended. He's very scary, and he's very strong with his slaps. I'll tell you that. His slaps are not the best to take. But when I was in the ring with him, we worked awesome. That other chemistry thing. Like, me and him work very well together. I feel like his character versus my character is really good, because it's like this positive kid going at it, versus this like vicious monster guy who nobody knows where he's from. Your worst nightmare, you know. So
Yeah, and I really dig the character. I'm not typically into the dark characters. You know, I'm very old school. You know what I mean? Put me next to Mario and Paul, and I'm very like just bland old school professional wrestling from the 70s or 80s. And it's and then it's like, but Mr. Z is another one that grew on me. Like he's brutal, he screams kind of, and he's
screams a
just
lot.
yeah, he does. He does. I mean, sometimes he might not need to, but he does. But it's very entertaining. You know what I mean? And he won't give me an interview because he
He's
doesn't want
scary.
to come. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's gonna kill me if he comes on this podcast. But
Oh yeah,
you know,
I think he might just through the screen. The
yeah.
amount of aura he shows, this is a little scary. You know, you might scare the crap
Oh,
out.
if you saw Mania in Paradise, he scared the crap out of
Oh
Matt the
yeah,
Court backstage.
on the
So,
clip where he goes, "Ah, dude!" I laughed so hard when I saw that.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I was fortunate to do commentary for that show, and I actually found out about 45 minutes before the show started.
Oh
So
really?
I was still in my house. I hadn't left. I was getting ready to leave, and then I got a text. When are you coming here? I said, I don't know. I'll be there in a little while. He goes, well, we have an extra person for the booth, and we want you in here. So I said, oh, I grabbed a shirt and got in the car and made it there. 10 minutes to spare. So
That's crazy.
yeah,
Literally,
that's from where I live in Wallingford. Woodbridge is. I grew up in Woodbridge, around the corner from that building. So,
mm,
but so I knew it very well. But it's from where I am in Wallingford, it's not that close, you know.
no,
So it's typically a half an hour drive, but I probably made there about 25 minutes driving so fast on the highway. So yeah, I had a blast that night. That was my official debut in Paradise Alley. I had done like 2 matches in the past for like the diabetes benefits that they used to do, but this was my first full show there. And I got to say that I was completely honored to be a part of the team and being sitting in the booth with Big Daddy and of course
oh yeah.
my pal Kevin Saban, who I get to we've done shows all over with each other. So uh and that he's always a fun one to have in the booth with me.
Hmm.
Yeah. So let's see. You have a very important matchup tonight. As you mentioned, Jeremy's a big pain in the ass, but he's been out on
Yeah,
the indies tearing it up everywhere.
literally everywhere. All of New
Yeah.
England is on notice when you see
Yeah.
it. It-
He's gone through Wrestling Federation of America. He's, I believe that he had a Wrestling Open tryout. I think that I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that he's been to, but now he's been at Fight Life a couple times. He's been pretty much everywhere in New England for the most part. But he wants to challenge you for that United States Championship. And if you saw on the YouTube, or excuse me, on the Facebook video, he said you were a terrible representative of the United States of America, and he attacked you from behind. And he gave Mr. Mancini a bunch of shit. So what's going on? What is going to happen tomorrow?
You know, tomorrow is the first time we're going to see one-on-one without him having a sneak attack or any, so to say, like secrets up his sleeve. You know, it's just me and him. There's nothing he can do against me when it's just me and him. I can get on him, beat him up, put my sliced bread onto him, count 1, 2, 3, get him out of here because he thinks he's representing the United States Championship. If you're hitting me from behind, come on. How is that?
I mean, that is kind of a low blow. That is kind of cheesy to attack somebody from behind, right?
Yeah, he's low blowed me in a rumble before to eliminate me. He's
Yeah.
attacked me behind, distracted me. He's never beat me in a fair way. He always has to have some sort of plot or scheme to beat me. But tomorrow, it ain't gonna be none of that. It's just gonna be Bosnian Bolt versus Mr. Lacroix. Old fashioned wrestling. That's hopefully I could keep representing the United States in a good way and not in the Jeremy way.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna walk out with that title. Let me ask you, because I didn't get a chance to ask you before. How did you come up with the name, the Bosnian Bolt?
So I always wanted to be something Bosnian, even though I do speak it, like not like fluently, but I'll understand it all. And I don't incorporate a lot into my gimmick, but I've always wanted to be like when I was in school, everyone called me the Bosnian Beast. But for wrestling, I can't really be called that because I'm not 260 and jacked, you know? So Roma gave me the idea of like send a couple words that start with B. And I came up with Bolt. I'm like, that fits me perfectly because I'm fast in the ring, high flyer. So I was like, you know what, Roma, do you think this works? And Roma said, heck yeah, it does. you got that, kid. I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you. He helped me with that, getting it. So
Yeah, he's helped a number of guys come up with their gimmicks and stuff like that, and I think that a lot of times like they work. You know what I
oh,
mean? Yeah. I do have some more. Did you play sports as a youngster prior to pro wrestling?
so I was not the most athletic kid when I was growing up until I was really short, believe it or not, until I was in my sophomore year of high school. When COVID hit, it was all online. I skyrocketed in height. I went from being like 4'10" to 6 foot like in a year. And then I started playing a lot of basketball. I started getting like cardio fit wise. I wasn't muscle building yet, but I was still moving a lot. And then I also had the choice as like I said, my senior year, basketball or like in college or wrestling. I said, I just started, I could start wrestling now and have a way better career than I can with all the other things, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else you got out there. What's coming up for the Bosnian Bolt besides tomorrow night?
So tomorrow night, I got the match, obviously, and then
Yep.
other PAPW shows. I've been trying to in talks with Pure Vanguard Wrestling. They've been the Nick Mitchell, the referee from.
Yep.
He's been asking me, and I want to go on, of course, with the opportunity given. And now I'm gonna start traveling. I think next month I'm going in West Virginia with Bloodsaw, Corey, and Nellie, and that's
Nice.
I don't remember the promotion what it was called, but we're going. He invited me, and he said I took the yes instantly. I'm like, yes, please. I want to go out. I want to get out more. So I got a couple of things coming up, you know?
Yeah. Here's another one I don't think a lot of people. I mentioned it one other time on this show. However, the show got canceled. I am also making my Pure Vanguard debut at the next show, but I was supposed to at the, but it got snowed out.
But
So, so me and Kevin Saban are going to be making our debuts together. I'm very excited for it because it's a very good company. I don't know if you've seen the videos at all.
I've
It's
seen,
um it's very good old school style wrestling. That's my bag. I love it.
oh,
And
yeah.
it's going to be a fun thing, and it's in Bristol, which I love that building. Normally they're in Bristol, I should say.
Mhm.
My son used to play basketball in that when he played AAU ball. He always used to go. We always used to play. He played tournaments there, and it was a
Right.
lot of fun. You know what I mean? It's a great building. It looks beautiful for wrestling. I've worked several other promotions in that building, so it's going to be fun. And I think that seeing you at Pure Vanguard and seeing you getting out there, I think you'd, seeing you get out more would be a fun thing because I think that you definitely have the potential to go out there and do
Oh,
more
yeah.
than just, work in your local promotion. But, but I understand. Yeah.
No, I think my goal for this year is to try start getting out as many promotions as I can now because Roma has been pushing me and Mancini.
Mhm.
They, hey, like you should be starting to go out. I'm like, yes, sir. So I've been had the go for it for a while, but
Hmm.
now like I'm confident enough with my body to start showing myself way more out there
Yeah. Yeah.
and showing the U.S. title. You know what
Yeah.
another PAPW guy can do. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's also, several other groups in Connecticut that could probably use you guys like my home, my second home, I should say, Coliseum Pro Wrestling, which is I absolutely love Coliseum Pro Wrestling and I'm always recommending talent, man, you should try to come down there at some point.
I got to help out. You know.
Yeah.
I'll come to it. I want to. They've been like I don't know who asked me, but they've been like saying, hey, you know, we want you over there. So hopefully
Yeah.
soon enough I can help out and then get a spot if it be.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else you want to throw out there before we wrap it up?
I want to shout out one specific person from
Go for
PAPW,
it.
and
Go for it.
that's Sylvan, aka Dan. He has mentored me not only in wrestling, he literally gave me the idea for my finisher, gave me so many ideas and for my promos and everything. But just in general, as like my human being side outside of wrestling, just me, he's really helped me grow my confidence, my mentality for everything. And he's given me so much advice to just grow as a person. And I really
Right.
want to give him a shout out of everybody. And obviously my family. They give me the chance to not go to college to do wrestling, and they really fully support me. So
That's awesome to have the support. A lot of times people don't have the support and they think that doing something such as concentrating on a wrestling or music career or something like that is not a good idea, but that's awesome to have the family support. And I got to give a shout out. Let's go ahead with Sylvan as well. Behind the character, the real person of Dan Sylvan is one of the nicest and kindest human beings. He's the complete opposite of his character. I know I just let that out here on this podcast. He's probably going to kill me, but you know,
I think he'll be fine with this part, you know.
yeah, he's a great guy, and
Oh, yeah.
having a conversation with him is always pleasurable. So yeah, so that's tomorrow night. That's going to be what's today's date? It's March 15th. The Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling training facility. Mirza, the Bosnian Bolt, taking on Jeremy Lacroix. There's a lot of great action going on tomorrow. So if you guys get a chance, I want you all to come down. It's what is it, 665 Co Avenue? Is that correct? Is that
Two, I think.
Okay, 662 Co Avenue. Sorry, I'm probably mixing the Coliseum building up. 662 Co Avenue, East Haven, Connecticut. Everybody come on out and enjoy some professional wrestling. Mirza,
Yes,
why don't you give a shout out to your socials so everybody can know where to find you?
So I'm at the Bosnian Bolt _ Mirza on all socials, every single one. You'll find me there. Same username for everything. So all socials.
All right. Go ahead and give him a follow. Mirza, I want to thank you very much for joining in today. And we're going to have you coming back as your career progresses.
Yeah, hopefully next time you see me, I'm still U.S. champion. You know what I'm saying? And maybe old, you know?
Absolutely. Thank you, bud.
Thank you, Del Santo.